Lyft has been caught blocking apps that actually help drivers make more money and exercise their independent contractor rights. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and we have several apps out there that sync up with the Uber and Lyft and Postmates and DoorDash, Grubhub, all these apps. They sync up the apps and they do various little things. They let them know which blocks, if the app has blocks, are available across the board. It lets them know when things are surging, and probably most helpful for a lot of drivers who do this full-time or even just part-time, they let both apps be on, and when a ride comes in, they turn off one app and they accept that ride, and then they turn both apps back on again. All that does let them customize what they want to automatically be rejected. So these apps exist, and they are perfectly legal, and you should be allowed to use them if you are an independent contractor. And yet, Uber and Lyft, well, okay, maybe not Uber, but Lyft particularly is saying, no, you can't. However, before we talk about any of that, let's have a word from our sponsors.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, I'm Jonathan with gigworker.com, and we've been commissioned to conduct a survey by an insurance company that's getting ready to put out a new insurance product specifically for Uber and Lyft drivers. But they want to get some information from drivers that will help them tweak the insurance so it really fits our needs. So I wanted to invite you to participate in the survey because they're going to use your answers to help them design the cheapest Uber and Lyft insurance available. Not only will it be cheaper, but it will cover a lot more, like lost wages when you can't work because your car is in the shop. Think about that. So if you're an Uber or Lyft driver, would you take about 5 minutes to complete the survey? Kevin said he'll leave a link down below in the description. If you could click on that at the end of the video, that would be great.
Now, a couple more notes before we continue. First of all, I believe tomorrow is the last day you can take that survey. So if you haven't taken the survey, please consider taking it below. They have been very helpful in supporting this channel. So, help them out a little bit as well if you like the fact that they help keep this content coming on a more regular basis. Also, it should be noted, like right now, as you can see, the topic we are discussing, well, actually, I don't think you can see this just yet, but we are talking primarily about Maestro. Now, Randy Shear, who used to be Uberman, works for Maestro, and I have no issue with him. However, I want to take a moment to mention that one of my sponsors is Maximo, which is Maestro's competitor. Therefore, I have to give a little bit of a tip to them. I like them. I like their app. I personally recommend that app more than Maestro. No offense to Randy or the people at Mystro. The reason we're talking about this is pretty simple, though. It's, first of all, news. And secondly, if Lyft can do this to Maestro, they can do it to Maximo. So that's the main reason we're doing this. And what am I talking about? Developer says Lyft blocked a popular app that helped drivers manage their gigs. So it says here on Fast Company, whether you order a ride in the Lyft or Uber app, the car that arrives will often have stickers for both ride-hailing companies. The same drivers may also juggle gigs for delivery services like Postmates, DoorDash, or Instacart. About 48% of drivers are signed up with 2 gig services, and about another 18% are with 3 of them, according to a 2018 survey by the Rideshare Guy. Hey, Harry. That's where a company called Driver Partner saw an opportunity. Its Android app, Mystro, hooks into Lyft, Uber, and Postmates apps to help drivers evaluate offers and automatically switch between the services. But Mystro abruptly stopped working with the Lyft app in March, says Drivers Partners, and the two companies disagree on why. Now, I should also note, I was aware of this. However, I think it was a particularly busy week when this news broke, so I didn't cover it. And admittingly, I'm late. I can already read the comments. Old news, but it's still worth talking about. Dwayne Shaw, co-founder and co-CEO of San Francisco-based Driver Partners, claims that Lyft deliberately altered its app on March 12th to break the connection. Lyft has not responded to that assertion, although Lyft sucks, so I wouldn't be surprised. A week later, Driver Partners issued an app fix to restore the connection, says Shaw. And then it stopped working again. So yeah, that definitely sounds deliberate. That sounds very deliberate. The cycle has repeated itself 5 times, Shaw claims, with the latest broken connection occurring on May 27th and the latest fix on June 8th. So this is what it looks like. You can set up your rides. You can say, I don't want to take any Lyft line or Uber pool rides. I don't want to take anyone below 4 stars. I don't want to accept long trips, things like that. And based on that information, it will either accept the ride for you automatically, or it will give you an option to accept it yourself and just otherwise decline it. And it will run both the apps at the same time. And once it accepts a ride from one app, it'll turn the other app off. Once that ride is over, it'll open the other app back up and whatever calls first. So that's how it works. By the way, Maximo works this way too. Since the Lyft disruptions began in March, Maestro's numbers of paying customers has dropped from around 10,000 to 7,000, says Shaw. And by the way, I agree that because that's why people are getting the app. That is, I hate this. Look, this is not a criticism of Maestro. So again, with all the respect to those guys. However, that is the point of the app. You are downloading the app so that you can switch between Uber and Lyft primarily. And if you can't do that, that is effectively a useless service. Now, that is not a knock on Maestro, clearly, because Lyft is screwing them in that regard. Maestro is providing a service that should be allowed. You know, like, we are independent contractors. We are allowed to do multiple platforms. In a way, this is no different than just having the 2 phone trick where you had Uber on one and Lyft on the other, except now you don't need to have 2 phones. And yet Lyft is actually deliberately altering. I'm surprised Lyft is the one that was caught doing this. I honestly expected Uber to do it first, but maybe Uber realized that they're in enough trouble as it is. Meanwhile, he says connections to Uber and Postmates have remained functional the whole time. Uber did not return multiple inquiries, and a Postmates spokesperson declined to comment. Quote, it's probably the most popular out there with drivers because it lets you drive for both Uber and Lyft automatically and makes driving a lot safer, says Harry Campbell. Why is Maestro only available on Android? It takes advantage of the operating system accessibility service, which allows developers to create an alternative interface into an app. Apple's iOS doesn't have this functionality. By the way, that's also why Maximo doesn't work on iOS. I know a lot of people say, I tried doing Maximo and it's not on Apple. That's why the problems with proprietary systems, Apple sucks, they can go screw themselves. Driver Partners charges that Lyft has targeted Maestro for blocking by the package ID associated with its app in the Google Play Store. For this reason, he says the company withdrew its app from Google Play and offers it as a download from the Maestro site, in which each download has a different package ID. Lyft says its app updates are not targeted at Maestro, but says that the accessibility service is not the right way to interact with its network. Says who, Lyft? We are independent contract. We were talking on the podcast yesterday about, what's the future of rideshare going to look like, because we like our accessibility. We do like being independent contractors. We like going on when we want, getting off when we like, and we wish Uber and Lyft would get their heads out of their collective asses and realize this. And yet they don't. Instead, they keep putting limitation after limitation after limitation. They are not supposed to do it this way. We have every right to switch between the apps if we want, whether it be through Maestro or the 2 phone tricks. That's the problem with this, because this is just a step away of saying you can't get on and off whenever you want, which is the only reason people don't want to be regulated. It is the number one reason people don't want the government involved in Uber and Lyft, because they can get on and off the stupid app whenever they want. And here it is, Lyft, they are deliberately interfering with a way to do that. Amazing. Regulate them. Let them go out of business. I don't care anymore. Well, I do care, obviously, and I'm not going to stop making videos about it, but yeah, no, they deserve to have this happen. I'm gonna hold my tongue, but basically all you people who say you don't want them regulated, wake up. Just wake up. You're not free, you're employees. Anyway, let's continue this. Developers that may be attempting to gain access to our platform without a formal relationship with Lyft cause negative implications to both the rider and the driver experience, and we don't condone this behavior. Lyft said in the statement. Oh, but they do have a relationship. Those are your drivers. They're your drivers. It's not some random company that's dealing with shady third parties. No, these are your drivers saying this is how they want to drive, and you're taking away an option for them to exercise their independent contractor right. Yeah, bite me, Lyft. Instead, developers should apply for access to Lyft's system through its application programming interface as the company. Our team will review your request and contact you if there's a good match. Now, let's take a step back, now that I went on that little rant, so to speak, in that they're not 100% wrong. In a sense, Maestro and Maximo and all these companies are logging into Lyft's system, and they're doing it without permission. And I believe Lyft does have the right to protect that. However, they really should stop and think about how this comes off to everyone. Because people don't see like, hey, someone's getting into Lyft through the back door. They see Lyft is preventing me from driving the way I want. I mean, it's... yeah. Anyway. What a complicated situation. However, Shaw says it's not that simple. Quote, we reviewed their API documentation and it did not seem like API access would support our use cases of taking the driver online, offline, and automatically accepting trips. We requested more information to clarify if their API would provide these capabilities, but they did not respond. So that's the final piece of this information. Lyft did not respond. That's because they don't care about a backdoor method to getting into their app. They just don't want to work with Mystro. They don't want to work with apps that give the drivers the ability to get on and off whenever they want. They want you to stay on the Lyft platform. For Uber wants the same thing, so does Postmates. However, Lyft has taken the most firm step, obviously, by trying to block these apps, and they keep updating the system to block it every time it happens. So, yeah, that is wrong. This is another reason Lyft sucks more than Uber. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. I'm kind of waiting for, to my knowledge, you can still switch apps between Uber and Lyft on Maximo. So, and again, full disclosure, Maximo is a sponsor. They're not sponsoring this episode. Gig Worker is sponsoring this episode. However, here's the thing. If Lyft starts doing it to them, then they start doing it to Maximo. At that point, Maximo can't sponsor the show anymore. They can't help you guys out. And, everyone's a lot worse off. And bigger picture in both cases, you can't drive the way you want, which Uber and Lyft say like, hey, we allow you to drive however you want, and then we take away your options to drive however you want. That's why you're getting regulated, Uber and Lyft, particularly Lyft in this case. Anyway, that's where we're going to end this right now. What do you think? Is this bothersome? Have you canceled Maestro because of this problem? What do you think about it? And does the service have any value to you if you can't switch between Uber and Lyft? I would love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. Also, if gas prices get you just a little down, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. If you want more content from me, check me out at the Apptrepreneur Vlogs channel or the Kevin T. Rodriguez channel. The channels have a little different content than what you see here. However, they are still enjoyable, I think, and so you can get more stuff from me, a different side of me, if you will. And if you want to talk to me about any of this or other fellow rideshare people, check us out at Facebook on the Apptrepreneur Hangouts. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.